I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful
Hey, welcome
day.
to episode 8 of Mr. Willis's Neighborhood, and today we will be doing Terracotta Soldiers. Before we get started, the question of the day is, what does fox, scavenger, and treasure have in common? If you guessed hunt, you are correct. Good job, guys. Okay, now we're going to talk about where is China in the world. Okay, China is located in Asia. This is the Asian continent right here. China is located right here. You have the Himalayan mountains down to the southwest. You have the Gobi Desert up north. Of course, Mongolia is straight north of China. And then you have the island of Japan off the coast of China here, and also the island of Taiwan. But ancient China, or China, is located in Asia today. Okay, now we're going to start off with a little history. The person we are going to discuss is Qin Shi Huangdi, the first emperor of China. You see, Qin was not necessarily a nice guy. He actually ruled with a lot of force, and he forced people to do several things. For example, he forced people to build the Great Wall of China. And he also forced people to pose for their terracotta soldiers. You know, Qin Shi Huangdi was not very well liked by his people because of all the things that he actually had done to them. So when he actually did die, and he died by trying to find a potion that would make him live forever, good luck on that one, he actually mixed up a concoction that actually killed him. So when he died, he had planned that he would develop a tomb that would be surrounded by terracotta soldiers. The myth was said that the terracotta soldiers would come to life to protect him in the afterlife. Of course, that didn't happen, because when the farmers and peasants and people of his kingdom found out where he was buried, they stormed where the terracotta soldiers were, actually knocking them over, taking their weapons, setting the place on fire, so the roof that was built over them collapsed on top of them, and basically erasing the terracotta soldiers from the memory of China for several years. All it was basically a myth that nobody knew anything about. Here we have an example of the terracotta soldiers themselves. There were over 6,000 of them found. You see, back in the early 1970s, there was a farmer that was digging a well. When he was digging the well, he came across some pottery fragments that looked like they might be like the terracotta soldiers. Now you see, the terracotta soldiers, they were forgotten about, but people still told stories about them. So when he actually found them by digging the well, he called a local university, which quickly came out, and they have been excavating since, I believe, 1974, and they're still excavating today. And they're finding all kinds of things, like the soldiers themselves, horses, chariots. There was even people that were like acrobats or strongman. You know, there was all kinds of different characters that were in different sections of the area surrounding his tomb. Now, the terracotta soldier, first of all, each one is different. They said they were beautifully painted. Each one is of a certain person that had to actually sit and be sculpted by a certain sculptor. It is also said when the sculptor was done sculpting all of the statues that he made, he was killed, because Shi Huangdi did not want any secrets revealed about how the terracotta soldiers were made. So today what we're going to do is we are going to make our own terracotta soldier out of the modeling clay that I gave to you last week. So this terracotta soldier that you see right here was my first attempt. It's not bad. Looks kind of like a terracotta soldier. I don't know. I could have done better. So what we're going to do today is we are actually going to make our own. So to speed things up, what I have done is I have laid out all the pieces that we will need. The first thing we're going to start off is with the head. Now I have already kind of taken a toothpick and I've carved in the eyes, the nose, the mouth. But the first thing we're going to add is we're going to add hair. So it was very important to the ancient Chinese that they have a top knot. It was said if your top knot was cut off in battle, that it was a disgrace. Some people even thought that they couldn't continue to live if their top knot was cut off. So the top knot was very, very important. So we're going to make a top knot. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a little mustache, a Fu Manchu, if you will. We're going to put it right there. Okay, so now our face is starting to come alive a little bit, you can see. And then I'm going to give him a little tiny goatee down there so he looks kind of cool, maybe a little mean. So there you have the head of your terracotta soldier. The next thing we're going to set the head to the side. Well, actually, we're going to take the head and we're going to go ahead and put it straight up on the body. So we are going to now put the head on the body, which I already had made. You can kind of see how I have my things laid out. I rolled them, shaped them, did everything first, and then put everything together. So there's the body. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to add the legs. So one leg, you want to make sure you kind of squeeze it up in there and then mold it together. See how I'm doing that? Okay, so one leg. And I think this one's actually going to turn out a little bit better. Sometimes, you know, if you try it once, you're not really happy with how it looks. The good thing about this is you can just roll it back up and start over until you have it to where you really feel like you've done a good job. Okay, so there's the legs. Okay, making sure they're secure. Next thing I'm going to put on is I'm going to put on his arms. Okay, so here's one arm that I already had pre-made. See how that works? All right, and now we're going to get the other arm. I tell you, the hardest part was making sure everything was symmetrical. It's kind of difficult to do, but okay, so that's what our guy looks like so far. I think we're really having a better result than the other guy. The other guy was a little too, well, chubby, I guess. Okay, next, we are going to take shoulder pads. They had shoulder pads up here. And we're going to put these, no, that was actually a shoe. Okay, we're going to put the shoulder pads right here. We're going to mold it around the arm. See how that looks? Okay, so there we have one of our shoulder pads. The next thing we're going to do is do the other one. Put it right here. I think that turned out pretty good. All right. Now here what we've done, and you can see how we've scored it with a toothpick. Now we've also done the thing, we've scored this too with a toothpick. This is the breastplate. This, don't knock his little goatee off. This will go right up front because, and what I've done is I've rolled it out and flattened it really good. Then I drew little X's or little crosses on it to make it look like it was his armor. This one right here, I'm going to put up a little bit. I'm going to make him look all yoked out. He's got a cowboy collar on. This will be the back plate. Kind of just let it stick there like that. So he almost looks like a little mutant ninja turtle kind of, doesn't he? Okay. So we've got quite a bit accomplished. Right here, this is going to be like, it's kind of like a skirt or a kilt. It wraps around their waist like that. Kind of finishes him off. You might want to have that seam in the back. You might like that better if the seam is in the back because you won't see it. That's probably a mistake on my part, but I can take it and I kind of mold it together. Now I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm going to draw a little design on it. I'm just going to take the toothpick and I'm just going to go like this. This gives a little character. Maybe it acts like this is his belt or whatever, and we just keep going around. Come on. See how I'm doing that? It gives a little extra character. And you want to come around the other side. You want to meet up. Now you could do that a couple times, or you could do a different design maybe around the bottom, like this. So it gives it that little extra character. Like so. Okay, now I do think we're having more success in this guy. This guy looks all squished up. Here's the shoes. We don't want to walk around without any shoes. I even put little triangles on the front of the shoes to make them look like Chinese shoes. You know, like they would have wore back then. Okay, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Now, no Terracotta Soldier would be complete without his weapon. So we're going to go ahead and place that weapon in his hand. Over here, I'm going to take the toothpick and I'm going to make the toothpick look like it was a spear. Oh, he's loaded for bear now. And then I've got these two toothpicks that I broke apart, and I'm going to put those in the back, slide them in like he's got a couple weapons right in the back like this. Okay, I shove that a little bit further down. Actually, that guy turned out pretty cool. All right, there's your Terracotta Soldier. Pretty cool looking little dude, huh? If I can get him to stand. Okay, good job. All right. So if you have extra clay and you got siblings around the house, let them mess with it too. Let them have a little fun. You can do other characters besides Terracotta Soldiers. I would say the two assignments I have for this are A, make your Terracotta Soldier. If you're not happy with it, ball it up and start again. You know, all you have is a little time to make it look the way you want it to look. The next thing is I want you to find 10 amazing facts, and I would like you to either flip grid them to me or send them to me on Google Docs about something you learned about Terracotta Soldiers. An example of a fact would be there are over 6,000 Terracotta Soldiers that were found in the early 1970s. Have some fun. Enjoy. Can't wait to hear your responses. And I am glad to see you guys, and we'll see you next time on Mr. Willis's Neighborhood.